What's up, everybody? I wanted to switch over to the GoPro so I could get a wider frame. You could see a little bit better, maybe get a better picture of how we do this. I did spend some time and charge the batteries on the Crane 2 so that they would all be charged up. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the tripod base on. And that's just a 1/4 20 that screws on. This is very handy to have. Okay. First thing you've got here is this base plate. And you can loosen this, slide, then you've got to push this button to take the base plate out. That's a Manfrotto style, if you're familiar with that. And there's a lens adjustment here that helps support the lens. We're not going to worry too much about that now because I'm just using the 12-35 on the GH5. Short lens, probably not going to be a big problem. So we're just going to put it on there to start with and kind of guesstimate where it's going to go. So I'm just going to kind of go in the middle and tighten that up. And you can use the trusty penny. To make sure that's nice and tight. So that's kind of where I put it, sort of in the middle to start with. We're going to load this in there. And once it snaps in, I'm just going to kind of center it up, and then I'm going to tighten this down to start with. And we'll begin with the balancing. Okay, a couple different things when you're balancing this. Now, the manual that they send you actually is pretty good. It is in English, contrary to popular belief. Maybe they improved it, I'm not sure. It is pretty good, pretty decent manual when it talks about how to balance this thing. So let's get this tight. Just going to tighten that up for now. So the first thing that it's going to tell you that you're going to need to know is that when you're holding this arm level, if it's not, which actually magically it is pretty level right at the moment, but if it's not, you want to hold this level, this side arm, and you're going to adjust in the beginning the tilt axis. So the manual will tell you that you want to loosen the thumb screw and slide this, adjust this until it just tilts back and straight up, which actually this is just pretty darn close. But if it's not, you loosen this side thumb screw right here and you slide this in and out. So let's just, you can see there it just balances. If I move it forward just a little bit more, it falls forward. So what you want is you want that to just tilt back just a little. I'm going to come back just a little bit more. Back just a little bit more. Pretty much right there. Now I've seen other reviewers showing how to do this, and they've done it different than this on the Crane V2, but I'm telling you that's what the manual says to do. Once it stays in this position leaned back while you're holding this level, tighten it up. Next thing is the roll axis this way. So you loosen this thumb screw that's right here, and you can slide this in and out. So if it's in, it's going to fall this direction. If it's out, it's going to fall that direction. And so basically what you want is you just want it to stay level, which is right there. Tighten this thumb screw down. All right. Third and final adjustment is this thumb screw right here. This is the pan axis. Now, according to this, what you want to do, hold it like this, okay? See if I can show you this. And camera turned out, just like this, sideways like this, until this is balancing this direction. It's actually worse. That's just about it right there. And tighten it down. That is supposed to be how it's balanced, according to their directions. Now, things I've seen online say that the camera should float right about here. You know, try it, and if you think that that's where it needs to be, then you can adjust this forward just a little bit. It's right about there. So it doesn't take much time at all to get this kind of set up. Also, if you run out of adjustment on this plate, you can move the camera within the plate itself. And then also you can, when you're ready, if you want to, you can move this lens support up and tighten it up. But that's pretty good right there. Let's turn it on. And there it is. Works pretty well. That's the pan follow mode. There's an LCD display here. It says PF on it. This needs to be tightened up for the batteries. PF on it. There's a rotary dial here. Mode, record. You can adjust up and down with the little thumb dial, and you can see the camera reacting there. It does have the follow focus knob, although Panasonic or Sony neither allow manual follow focus adjustment through the USB or camera control connection. So that's something that we're hopeful that firmware will fix, or that the manufacturers might be able to enable with firmware. It does work with Canon, because Canon, as far as I know, is the only camera that does allow USB manual focus control. If we click the button twice, then you're in follow mode, right? So if I pan up, you'll see the camera tilt up, pan down, side to side. One click takes you back to the pan follow mode. One click takes you to lock mode. So it's going to stay pointed in that same direction no matter what I do, how I turn. Just like all the other gimbals, you've probably seen all of this. And then you also have a selfie mode. Seems to work just fine. There are settings that you can change in the camera, or in the gimbal. There are settings you can adjust in the gimbal where you can change how much the motor is going to affect. So based on the weight of your camera, there's light, medium, and heavy motor actuation. They call it the motor force adjustment. For right now, with the Panasonic GH5 and the cable connected into the unit, which, by the way, it's hard to show you, plugs in right here, okay? And they send you all the cables for all three different cameras. They're in this case, which is nice, along with the charging cable. You can control just picture, photo, start and stop of those functions, and that's about it. Which even that is nice, because then I can hit the record button, start and stop a recording or whatever. What are the differences in this and what I've seen in the others? It's much bigger around. 3 batteries down here stacked in a triangle type configuration, which you kind of saw before. You do get the tripod base, which is nice. It's a nice design. It works really well. The whole unit is heavier than I expected, honestly. But yeah, it's not bad. It's manageable. It's definitely manageable. That's a Zhiyun Crane 2. Not V2, but 2. Pretty easy to set up. As you can see, it didn't take any time at all. 5-6 minutes at most. And once everything's set up, it just works. It seems solid. The construction is amazing. I mean, really good. I'm actually surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised. You guys know I've done the smooth Q, and I like the smooth Q, but it does have a fair number of plastic components. This is aluminum. Well built, everything machined nicely, everything looks good. This case is really nice. Neat system. 18 hours of battery life, depending probably, I'm sure, on the weight of the camera and how much you're doing with it, but it's a really nice unit. There are some other additional plugins on the side of this thing that let you update firmwares and all kinds of other stuff. But that's my initial setup. I hope this was helpful. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Look forward to messing around with this thing, seeing how it goes.